In the heart of Laguna Niguel, the Laguna Design Center is Southern California's premier destination for home furnishings and design expertise. Everything you need for your home can be found within the Laguna Design Center. Open to the public with 40 showrooms and over 1,500 product lines. Visit, explore, and shop the Laguna Design Center and find your inspiration. Conveniently located off the 5 and 73 freeways with plenty of free parking.
It's not the wherewithal to the places you go, but the shoes you wear and the place to be. Where will you be when fashion calls?
This is Dione Bledsoe with Fashionista Now Boarding, presented by FindtheFit. My name is Elvira Reyes, and we're here at Fashionista Now Boarding. Hi, I'm Elvira Reyes. We're here at Fashionista Now Boarding, and I'm here with Miss Dione Bledsoe. So, Miss Dione, if I may so say so elegantly, how does it feel to be here at the beautiful city?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I had a very good night's sleep in a fabulous room with a view of the ocean, so I really cannot complain.
I can imagine if you guys were here, it's incredible. It's life-changing. So we're here to interview you and see a couple of questions. How does it feel to be an executive search at such an upcoming big business?
Well, I think it's wonderful. I mean, I've always loved recruiting. I started my firm just over 7 years ago, FindtheFit, and we conduct global searches all over the world. So throughout the US, all throughout Canada, Europe, and even Asia as well.
I was wondering, I was looking into your everything. I thought it was so interesting that you have a couple of different segments on the bottom of like one-on-one interviews, like you have a bunch of, how-tos. How do you go about like finding the research in order to give the exact or a great interview or etc., anything like that? How do you go about finding that research?
I think that a lot of that has just come from my experience over the years in extensively interview senior level executives, and so we've developed different processes and methods that work really well with our various clients. So after interviewing executives day in and day out, you find out what works really well in the interview process and what doesn't. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's quite a bit of psychology behind it. Interviewing is quite the art form, and so it's not necessarily just about answering and asking questions, but there's the way that you say things, the tone of voice that you use, and the way you carry yourself. So there's quite a bit of science behind it as well.
Cool. I was wondering, okay, so we have, FindtheFit, and it's an amazing opportunity in which people can interact with like actual CEOs, and how does that go about? How do you reach out to find those candidates to be those CEOs in those positions within fashion industry, in the fashion industry, I should say?
Yeah, so there's actually two sides of it. So the first way is how our clients will approach us. So on LinkedIn, we have a pretty healthy following of just over 18,000 followers.
Oh.
And so people will come to me and say, hi, we've seen your work and your profile, and we want you to conduct a search for us. And so we'll talk about it pretty extensively, what their cultural fit is, how does the role achieve certain strategic goals within their company, and then of course the obvious specific skill set. So then once we've gathered such intelligence, we will then go out into the market and conduct a full-scale search. And the way that we search is very dependent on what our clients' needs are. I mean, we've worked with startups to Fortune 500. So it really depends on who they are, what their needs are, what their circumstances are, and what they're looking for. So every search is very different. It's incredibly tailored and customized, but that's what makes it fun.
Oh my God. So you would definitely say that LinkedIn is like an extreme help to it, or would you say that it's, since the social media sphere has grown as much as it has, would you say that's impacted more of the business, or would you say it's been more word of mouth?
I think it's a balance between the two. I mean, when I first started recruiting 8 years ago, LinkedIn was just sort of coming up, and now what it is today, it's certainly a great resource. But I think that as a recruiter or within an executive search firm, to solely depend on LinkedIn would be not the most prudent choice. I mean, we have a balance between our existing database, which is 20,000 and growing, combined with LinkedIn, combined with the all-important personal relationships that we do have within the market.
Oh, wow. Well, you guys are spreading out tremendously. I loved the website. I thought it was extremely cute. I loved how the pictures and everything.
Definitely a personal vibe there.
Yeah.
We don't like to go too corporate. We like to keep things a little flashy and fun.
I feel like so how do you go about finding regular candidates then in that aspect?
Yeah, so we do have a very structured search process, and the first thing that we do is we tap our existing database, again, over 20,000 people. So we're looking for a specific type of person. As I was telling you, we know the criteria. So the first thing we do is build out a narrative. And so this is a really critical part of the search, and I don't know if a lot of people do this, but I think that what you're saying and what you're presenting to talent, the way you represent your client is absolutely key. And so there's a certain psychology behind it, and I can't give away all my secrets of what we say, but I will tell you, we do have anywhere between a 66 and 75% conversion rate. So when we send it out to every potential candidate, and we send everything out personally and directly, either by phone, email, etc., we do get 2/3 to 3/4 of them that will raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested, and then we will go through the process of then extensively qualifying them.
Oh my God. It sounds like a lot of scientific equations in the back.
It's a blend of art and science for sure. I mean, you have to have a process that's methodical and that's proven, and I believe that we do. But it is also an art form. I mean, you really have to listen to the subtleties, the subtle nuances that candidates are saying, but maybe not saying at the same time, to make sure that they're a proper cultural fit.
Wow. Well, Chica, you know how they say, whenever you go to Japan, you speak Japanese, you go to Mexico, you speak Spanish. Well, here in Orange County, we actually speak fashion. So I was looking into, what interview attire should be. I was wondering, what do you look for in a candidate? What should they wear, or what should their language of the fashion be spoken as?
Right. Well, this is a question that comes up all the time before every on-site interview. What should I wear to my interview? And it can be really tricky. And I think surprisingly the easiest is when you're interviewing for an actual fashion brand, because all my clients will tell me, we want them to be themselves. If you show up as a man in a suit and tie, you may as well just leave the building, because no one is going to wear that. It's not appropriate interview attire anymore. They want to see authenticity. What is your personal style? Is it a cool pair of jeans? Is it a blazer, a t-shirt? Is it a leather jacket? Like, whatever works for you. Same thing with women. I think as women, we have a lot more freedom. We can kind of, push the line a little bit more. But I found that the candidates that have the stronger sense of personal style seem to do much better. And on the flip side of that, when you're interviewing for a more athletic brand, such as a New Balance or a Nike or Adidas, or an outdoor brand like Arc'teryx or Black Diamond, it becomes a little bit more tricky, because you don't want to dress up too much, but you don't want to be too casual either. Mm-hmm. So that's the time when you want to be wearing something that's more performance focused without look like you're going to the gym.
Oh, okay. So we have to wear where we're going to.
Right, because just like if you were a consumer, remember you're coming into a brand that's, very consumer facing, and so you want to fit in with the vibe, again, being true to yourself, but you don't want to look too fashion forward if you're going into, an athletic interview, and vice versa. So it's very important to dress for the client and be very careful of wearing opposing brands.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I was reading into the step-by-step how to nail the interview.
Interview prep, step by step. Yes, thank you.
I was reading into that. I always have a difficulty with that. You know, I have an extremely eclectic wardrobe sense, one could say.
Right.
I love color. I'm a super vibrant. I mean, clearly my hair is loud enough as it is sometimes. And it's difficult. It's really honestly difficult to know what to wear. I can spend hours and hours and still find nothing to wear for an interview. So it's nice to hear a little step-by-step. And this is also downloadable on the website. You can check that out. And it really does help. And it's
Thank
nice
you.
cute pictures too. I like
Thank
it.
you. Take a cue from Cher, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up.
Cher Horowitz knows.
No, yeah, so, oh my god, that's incredible though. What else would you recommend for someone who wants to, you know, go into the industry, who really doesn't have much internship or background experience? How would you encourage the young individual that wants to do that?
Well, this is something that people ask me a lot about, and so I think that there's a couple of things. One is that no one really tells young people that they need to really think about their 5-year track today. And that's what I would tell a lot of people that are just beginning to graduate. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be a designer? Do you want to be in merchandising? Do you want to be in development, production? What does it look like? And then from there, choosing which market segment you want to go into. It could be fashion, but there are different tiers. I mean, it could be juniors, it could be contemporary, more high fashion. So there's a lot of different tracks. You must choose, because after a year or two in at a certain company, you're going to get branded. And that's just the reality of it. A lot of people don't want to hear that. Yes, you can make the jump. It is possible, but it is much easier to transition within a market segment. For example, you're working at Billabong as an assistant designer. It's your first year out of school, right? You're there for 2 years. You're going to have a lot more power to make the jump to the next level in a couple of years following that to another surf, sport, action sports brand. It's going to be more difficult for you to take the leap into contemporary or high fashion. So you must choose where you're going from the onset.
Wow.
Which can be scary, but you have to think about it long term, because that is how, you know, from a hiring perspective, they're going to want someone that can do similar product perhaps within a competitor. And again, that's not a hard and fast rule. There are exceptions. However, if you want to make your life easier, you really need to think about who you want to be in the market and where you want to land.
So you've been watching Fashionista Now Boarding. I'm Elvira here with Miss
Dione.
No, I'm sorry. Miss Dione Bledsoe.
You got it.
Miss Dione Bledsoe. And we're logging off to you, but hopefully stay tuned for more episodes. You know, we try to post as often as possible. Pasta, because we love pasta.
You could spend an afternoon just figuring out the remote.
Yeah.
Right?
The satellite over here just in your hand. It's huge. This is the new iPhone.
Hello.
Actually, I forgot to let you know. iPhone 2017 right here.
Your car keys. What else?
It switches off your light.
And room service. all
And
in one.
manages, your whole entire suite.
Wow. I'm gonna probably put this down.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it. I'm going to blame you. This is Dione Bledsoe with Fashionista Now Boarding, presented by FindtheFit.
Moxies are one-of-a-kind flats which are extremely comfortable and not shy of being bright and colorful. MoxSha footwear is not afraid to intertwine energy with style and honors traditional culture and modern fashion. Moxies are dedicated to those who refuse to compromise fashion for comfort. Are you a trendsetter or trend follower?